Hello, I'm going to episode number 421 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be SmackDown for week 4 of September 2023, and yeah, it's the penultimate show before, no, we've got one more, the go-home shows next week, but then after that it's No Mercy on week 1 of October. We have one match announced for tonight. It's going to be LA Knight teaming with Candice LeRae to take on Oro Mensah and Chikara Jackson. And yeah, but there is a whole lot more. And yeah, without any more further ado, let's jump straight into tonight's show. We kick off the show with the contract signing for the Women's World Championship match taking place at No Mercy. It's going to be the champion Io Sky defending the title against Dakota Kai. And Pierce in the ring. He goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, I've got a very busy night tonight, so welcome to SmackDown. And I promise that we're going to have a contract signing here tonight. And without any more further ado, let's get that underway right now. So please welcome me first, the challenger for the Women's World Championship at No Mercy, Miss Dakota Kai." Out comes Dakota, and she sort of just sits in the chair. And then the other side of the chair, I imagine, like, she gets into the ring. And then, she's gonna have, the throne, the queendom throne is on one side. And then just a regular chair is on the other, and she sort of like goes, "What? Should I sit on the throne or there?" And Pierce like, "I'm assuming this one is for you, Dakota." And then she sits on the regular chair, and goes, "And now comes the champion, Io Sky." Io comes out, all of Queendom flacking her. She sits in the throne, sort of just looking smug, probably like laid back, just not really caring. And Dakota just laughs and goes, "Look at you. Look at you, Io. Like, we go way. This thing between us, it goes way back. This predates WWE. This predates SmackDown. This predates even NXT. You know, we've known each other for over a decade now, and you've always been one of my favorites to watch, to team with, to face. And I always knew that looking at you, despite how good you were, that I always looked up and went, I want to get on the level of Io. And I worked my hardest to get to that level. And I got on top of the world. I was the champion. And losing that title, it didn't feel good. But now I feel closer than ever to getting that championship back. And you're coming out here with your entourage and all of this, and your fancy throne, and your queendom, including Tegan back there, who, you know, I've beaten many times. But you don't look like you're taking this challenge seriously." And he sort of just like doesn't even like change expressions. He's sort of just like still laying there, like not really caring. She goes, "That's good. Okay, underestimate me if you must. But when I was first called up to SmackDown, it was with Raquel, and everyone looked at Raquel and they went, there's the star. She's just the good hand to, you know, get Raquel accustomed to WWE. She's going to be a superstar, and I'm going to be, you know, forgotten about. Here we are 3 damn years later, and I'm getting a championship shot in the main event of a pay-per-view. So, you keep doubting me. I've been proving people's doubts wrong my entire time here on SmackDown. And your arrogance is only making me want to kick your head off even more. Something I never thought I'd say. You know, I always, you know, looked at you as something of an idol, in fact. But my God, have I lost respect for you. You don't deserve that championship, Io, if this is how you're going to keep a hold of it. Which is fine, because in 8 days, you won't have it anymore." And Dakota signs, then Io finally, like, changes expressions. He leans forward and grabs the mic. Sort of, like, taps on it a couple of times. And then she shouts at Dakota in Japanese. And Dakota's laughing. "Do you want to get that?" Pointing at Cammy. She goes, "With pleasure." She goes, "Dakota, cute little, you know, rah-rah speech." And I'm sure a lot of people, you know, both here and, you know, back wherever you're from in New Zealand, they really believe in you. They think your girl's going to do it. She's going to become a 2-time women's champion. But Io's not overlooking you, Dakota. In fact, Io is focused because You're right. You two do go way back. If anyone knows all about that, it's me. But I brought this queendom together. And I helped gain the Genius of the Sky back the Women's Championship. And she's not dropping it anytime soon. Certainly not to you, Dakota. So, you can sit there and you can yap all you want, but we know you're Achilles' heel. You've had quite a few injuries in your career, haven't you, Dakota? That's not really a secret. Hell, you wear the knee brace on your knee quite publicly. Why would you go into a match with the best women's wrestler of all time with a target on your weak point? No, I'm being serious. I know you need it to keep yourself together, to stop your knees falling apart like paper mache, but all you're doing is giving Io not only just a target that you so greatly need. You know, you call yourself the team captain. If Io takes that leg out, there ain't gonna be no kicking. There ain't gonna be no chiropractor. There's just gonna be you rivaling in pain because you stepped up to somebody that you've admitted was a level above you ever were. And that was you fully fit. So this beaten shell of a Dakota Kai, what's she gonna do? Okay, this is your last chance to back out. Because if you go into this match with no mercy, Io knows how to get the job done. And that will be your last championship opportunity. And then Dakota just like stares at her and she goes, huh? I see you've made your choice. Brave. Stupid, but brave. And Io signs the contract. And then Cammy's like, well, you know, no mercy's 8 days away. And it sure would be a shame if, you know, anything were to happen to you in that meantime. She sort of like pats Utami on the back. And she goes, Oh, great heir apparent. Do the Queen's dirty work for her. And I imagine Piper Niven moves the table out of the way. Dakota gets up and ready to fight. She like jumps on Utami, but Utami fights her back. Io hits her from behind. Piper and Tegan join in. Your destiny's written all over the sky. You can't hide. I'm reading the thoughts that take over your mind. Asuka then runs out. She storms out. She takes the fight to Utami, takes Utami down. Io scurries away with Cammy. And she helps Dakota up to her feet. Which leads into our opening match, which will be a tag team match. Dakota Kai and Asuka taking on Piper Niven and Tegan Nox. 86. Okay, yes. That's fine. And the result here is not very satisfactory at all, because I don't want to beat anyone in this match. So, we're doing a DQ. Yeah, it's fine, because, like, the way I always have to justify DQ finishes in my head, because I know people hate them. This one's fine. It's either if it's something cool, if it furthers a story, like, rather blatantly, or if, you know, I feel like it's been a while since I've done one, and, like, it's not, like, the main event or anything on a show. This was a match that we didn't even know was happening. It was impromptu, so, like, we didn't advertise it, so I was like, yeah, this could probably end in a DQ fine, because, like, we didn't know it was happening. But yeah, Io and Utami attack, you know, their respective rivals to cause the disqualification. 83 for Dakota, 94 for Asuka, 76 for Tegan, and a 65 for Piper. And after the match, it's a continued attack by Queendom. You know, 4-on-2. Nobody can run out to help Asuka and Dakota. Candice probably would, but she has a match later on tonight. And fuck knows where Bianca is. And then nobody else really has issues with Queendom right now. You know, actually, no, because I don't want my babyface to all be assholes. Let's send 2 to run out, like, maybe it's a bit late, but, like, 2 random babyface women. Let's say, Naomi and Shantae. Just, you know, because they're good, wholesome babyfaces, they come running out to try and, you know, even the odds. But Queendom do stand tall. We then head back to Pierce's office, and he's in there with Swerve, and he goes, wait, Swerve, I've got somewhere I need to be in case but, I want to make sure I'm getting this correctly. You're saying tonight? And he went, that's right. I didn't realize, you couldn't understand anything I said. I think I was speaking perfectly good English, Pierce. He goes, so, I want to triple check that you're sure you know what you're saying. You saying to cancel the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match at No Mercy, and the Top Dollar and Ashanti want their title shot instead tonight in the main event of SmackDown. Pierce, and so he goes, yes, sir. And he goes, well, I guess I need to go and find Kevin Sammy before I make that official, but, if this request came from Top Dollar and Ashanti Adonis themselves, which you're saying it did, then that shouldn't be a problem to get that made official, Swerve. And he goes, great. I appreciate it, Pierce. I really do. And he just walks out. So, yeah. Shocking news there. The SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between Hit Row and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens that was set for No Mercy is instead taking place tonight. Swerve says that Top Dollar and Ashanti requested it. So, that's weird of them. Why would they do that? We then get an 87 rated segment. Just a hype video for both Bryan and Dragunov, because I had enough in for either, so we're going to, gas up both men as, vicious fighting machines in that ring, and how this is going to be, the greatest match at No Mercy, because this is two fucking warriors going at it, two men that would rather die than lose, or whatever. And yeah, Daniel Bryan, Ilya Dragunov, No Mercy, should be the match of the night. Maybe year, maybe series. Well, not. It could be joint best match of the series, I guess. But yeah, should be a banger, is what I'm saying. Speaking of bangers, I knew this would do good because they both had really good brawling stats. But yeah, 86 for this is really fucking good. It's Jacob Fatu and Nebo Barnes. Jacob Fatu of Samoans and Seth Rollins fame, and Nebo of the Revolution fame. Ahead of the 6-man tag at No Mercy. We got Jacob Fatu against Nebo Barnes tonight, and Nebo does pick up the win. 12:49 by pinfall. 77 for Jacob Fatu, 79 for Nebo. Two big hosses smacking it, an MLW masterclass here in the middle of SmackDown. And yeah, I think that's now that is 2 wins for the Revolution, none for Seth and the Co, because we count Buster's win over Seth at Payback as part of that. But yeah, I'm sure next week we'll get Solo Sikoa against Rufus Hamilton there. Let's see what happens there. We then cut back. Adam Pearce has caught up to Kev and Sammy, who have just arrived in the building. And he goes, Kev, Sammy, I just want to double check something with you because we've got important news and it concerns tonight's main event. It concerns our match at No Mercy. And Kev goes, well, what could be so important, Pearce? He says, well, I just spoke to Swerve. Swerve came to me and he said that, Ashanti and Dollar, they don't want the Tag Team Championship match at No Mercy anymore. They said want it tonight, right here in Minneapolis. And Sammy goes, well, that came out of nowhere. Are you sure that's come from Top Dollar and Ashanti? And Pierce says, that's what Swerve told me. And Kevin and Sammy go, yeah, we're always down to defend our titles, so we'll defend our titles tonight. And maybe even again at No Mercy if we have to, against, I don't know, maybe those Indian guys, maybe those Italian guys, maybe those French guys, maybe those Australian guys. There's a lot of different nationalities on the show, Adam. But one thing is for sure, they don't kick ass quite like these two Canadians do. So whether it be Hit Row, or whether it be any other tag team on SmackDown, we're defending these titles whenever we want, including tonight. So yeah, I guess there it is set. The main event will be for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, moved from No Mercy to tonight. Ashanti and Top Dollar taking on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. We then cut to a cinematic environment. It's a weird Italian restaurant. There's these guys, these thugs, down the back doing some shady business or whatever. Exchanging money in the dark. A quick. And then the back door of the Italian restaurant opens. And out steps the D'Angelo family. He goes, hey, wise guys, what's going on back here? And he goes, oh, look, it's Tony D. He goes, yeah, it's Tony D. Do we have a problem here? And he goes, yeah, we've got a problem, Tony D. Why don't you stick your nose out of our important business? Then they all sort of like giggle at each other. And then Big Problem Cass steps in. And he beats up all three men. Like, all three of the thugs out the back. And like tosses them away. And then we just cut to them all laid out on the floor. And Cass like adjusting his suit and tie or whatever. And then Tony goes, Big Problem Cass. You're living up to you now. I'm glad to see you healthy. It was a big problem for those guys tonight. And in No Mercy, it's going to be an even bigger problem for that Nigerian giant, Omos. Now, I heard from old Bivens' boy. He says his giant wants a weigh-in next week. Well, Big Problem, Cass. We'll see you there. Ahead of this Clash of the Titans at No Mercy, capiche? Because your big boy, Bivens, he's going to be sleeping with the fishes. 76 for this, okay. Florence has sort of taken on the role that Becky has of, like, just wrestling people. And, yeah, the difference is that, you know, I actually do know where... Well, I know where Becky's is going, but it's not for a while. But Florence is going into an immediate program shortly. So, you know, this will probably be the last one for a while. Florence defeats Violette Martin with a rain flow in 9 minutes and 20. So Miss Money in the Bank picks up a win. And then after the match, he's interrupted by Swerve and B-Fab. And Swerve just walks in and he gets in Florence's face. He just laughs. Look at you. Oh, Florence, so sweet, innocent, pure, stupid. You see, last week, you know, I looked back and I said, I saw B, you know, B, I challenged B to step up, and you were her target. Now taking aim at Miss Money in the Bank, going for Miss Money in the Bank's throat, that's, you know, pretty gutsy of B, but she lost. Okay? And now at the time, I blamed B. But I can't blame B too much because she dove into the deep end. She tried to swim with sharks and she ended up getting bit for it. But hey, that ain't a problem. It happens to the best of us. You know? Some of us like to pick fights with people that are perceived so far above us because those are the spots we want to take. And Florence, that spot, your spot, that case, your case, should belong to me. I mean to Hit Row. To B-Fab. And now, if you ain't just gonna give it back to its rightful owner, he sort of just puts his hand out and goes, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. John Cena, he chose the hard way. Let's see if you're as dumb as he is. And Florence just sort of looks at him confused, like, piss off, mate. Like, I'm not giving you my briefcase. She smacks Swerve in the face. And Swerve, he just holds his mouth and just chuckles. He goes, hard way it is. He drops the mic and he, like, slowly approaches Florence. But Florence doesn't back down. I don't want her to, like, cower away at the thought of fighting a man. But Swerve is going to grab her and, like, put his hands on her. And then Beef has to be like, whoa, Swerve. Like, stop it, okay, get off. And he goes, don't you tell me what to do, you listen to me, okay? I don't listen to you, you listen to me. Huh? I'm trying to get you on top, I'm trying to get you where you need to be. And you're gonna sit back and tell me no? That you don't want that opportunity? B, are you dumb? Okay? You know what? Forget it. I will get that case. You will have that case. But it appears we've got other problems on our mind right now. And then Swerve and B-Fab walk out. Florence still standing tall, like firm. Like she was ready to throw hands with Swerve. Like because I didn't do an agenda shit. So like Swerve putting his hands on Florence would still get that gasp from the crowd. But like I also don't want her to like look like a bitch. So I felt like that was the best possible way to do that. And yeah, I'm happy with the segment overall. We then cut backstage. Kayla Braxton is with her guests, LA Knight and Candice LeRae. And Kayla goes, tonight you take on, the underlings, so to speak, of Montez Ford and Bianca Belair. You take on Oro Mensah and Jakara Jackson in tag team action. Candice goes, See, Bianca, she's got this perceived sense of delusion that because she won a match at WrestleMania, she's the franchise player. Like, congratulations with that, but the show doesn't revolve around her. As a matter of fact, it revolves around whoever the champion is, and right now that's Io. Like, I'll deal with her on a different day, because me and Io aren't done by any means. But Bianca's she's new here, and she's throwing her weight around. It stems back to SummerSlam, and we teamed against the Next Gen, and I was the captain, she was the captain. It was just all this big mess, and now she's taking aim at me. Okay, she apparently thinks I'm at fault for her flaws. But tonight she's thrown her apprentice and Tez's apprentice into the firing line. And tonight's going to be a quick taste of what I'm going to do at No Mercy and what LA Knight's going to do at No Mercy. Then LA Knight takes the mic and let me talk to you, Kayla. Now you see, there's only one thing to say about this. You never thought you'd see the day that LA Knight, and Candice LeRae were standing side by side in the ring. But this is where the fate brought us tonight. Because Montez Ford and Bianca Belair, they think they own SmackDown. Montez Ford has something I want, and he's not been around here since I whipped his ass at Payback. Yeah. Now, as for Carmelo Hayes, I hope he sits back and watches, because I'm still never going to be finished with that guy, because I had him beat back at SummerSlam, and if he wants to get involved tonight, I'll stomp his ass out. Yeah. So tonight, mixed tag team action. Oro Mensah, Jakara Jackson, whatever your names are. You are going to learn the hard way that you should not have chosen to be by the side of Montez Ford or Bianca Belair. Nah, because there's only one champion, two champions here on SmackDown, two top stars, and their names ain't Montez Ford and Bianca Belair. Nah, they are Candice LeRae, and with everybody saying, L.A. Knight. And he just walks off. And then Kayla's just lingering there with the mic in front of Candice's face, and she just goes, yeah. And then she walks out as well. I always like interacting. If I'm doing a mixed tag team matches, I always like having the teams interact in a promo before the match, because I just think it's fun. So there you go. LA Knight, or whatever you want to call them, ahead of their match later on tonight. But first, we get a 71, okay? That overachieved. Random ass filler women's tag match. Alpha and a Web defeat Fallon Henley and Indy Hartwell. 11 minutes and 1 second. Alba pins Indy with a gory bomb. 43 for Iona Web, 78 for Alba Fire, 68 for Indy, 47 for Fallon. These two were losing to Florence, so I thought I'd give them a win here tonight. As we are always going to need new challenges for the Women's Tag Team Championships. So imagine these two against Alexa and Nikki. That would be crazy as fuck. Okay. We then cut to a courtroom. And it says, like... Actually, no, I was going to say it says earlier today, but no, I've been making, like, subtle references that Pierce has to be here. Because I was like, he's got a very busy opening, so he had somewhere to be. So this isn't too far from the arena. And then Chris Parks walks in. He's the judge, and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, simmer down. He's got his gavel. He goes, we've got an important case here today. Last week, Mr. Crusifino, attorney at law, and he stands up and he, like, takes a bow. He goes, filed a complaint, a serve to WWE SmackDown general manager Mr. Adam Pearce. And Pearce is just sat there, like, this is ridiculous. Okay, because this serving will now be commencing, and we'll do to the appropriate actions for what should be done about the situation. And then Luca Crusifino stands up and goes, yes, it concerns my client who's not here right now. And she's alleged terrible leadership and irresponsible leadership and putting injured people in harm's way from Mr. Pierce here. Now you see, and then the door flies open and Tiffany walks in. She's like properly dressed head to toe, like she's not for a lawsuit, but like just like in like fancy clothes. And she goes, "Where the hell have you been?" She goes, I operate on my own time. Like, I told you when you booked this time that I was gonna be late because I had places to be. Okay? Now, where were we? He goes, yes. My client, Miss Stratton here, says that her nose was broken. If you look back up at the big screen up there, you don't look the part, okay? I look the part, okay? And you know what? I didn't mention you because I didn't know if you were going to be back here because, quite frankly, nobody needs you back here, but you're the past too, so tootle on out of my ring right now, man. And Becky just all laughs. And she puts the mic up to her mouth. And then just, bam, socks Tiffy in the mouth with a punch. And then Mariah May eats the manhandle slam. Because that moment right there is where my client, Miss Stratton, broke her nose. And she's been not cleared to compete in the ring ever since. Okay, so, Mr. Pierce, the negligent leader that he is, terrible at his job, books Miss Stratton in a match against the attacker, the aggressor in said clip, Miss Becky Lynch, for an episode of TEW Heat last week. And of course, Becky breaking Tiffany's nose, Tiffany still was not clear to compete. So instead, her lovely assistant, Miss Mariah May, stood in on behalf of Miss Stratton, and she would like action taken against this negligence from Mr. Pierce. And then Chris Parks looks and goes, "Oh, that's a solid alibi, solid case, Mr. Pierce. Hope you have a solid alibi." Pierce goes, "This is ridiculous." And then David Otunga walks into frame. He's Adam Pierce's lawyer. He goes, "Allow me, Mr. Pierce, I'll clear your name. I call Miss Tiffany Stratton to the stand." She goes, "What? Why?" She goes, "To the stand." She stands there. She's looking uninterested. And then Mr. David Otunga, he goes, "Well, Miss Stratton, you claim that your boss, Mr. Adam Pierce, put you in harm's way and tried to force you to wrestle with a broken nose." And she goes, "Yeah." Objection! He goes, "Well, Miss Stratton, I have a very solid alibi that I believe will prove my client, Mr. Pierce, innocent and you're guilty. And it's Exhibit A up here." Ta-da! She takes her mask off. She throws it on the floor. She goes, "Oh, wow, your nose is miraculously healed, Tiffany." She goes, "Yes, I'll never forgive, Becky Lynch for what she did at Evolution, hitting me in the face. Gross, okay? Well, I'm ready to get straight back into action." She goes, what is that? Where did you find that?" And then Otunga he's got a coffee. He just sips his coffee. He goes, "I just watched the show, Tiffany." And then Chris Parks goes, "Well, that is damning evidence. I declare the Mr. Adam Pierce," he smacks the gavel down, "innocent." She goes, "What? That is so ridiculous. Like, I came all the way here for this, and you're going to tell me that he's innocent? And that, like, I'm still injured right now." And then he goes, "Well, where's your face mask, Tiff?" And Pierce goes, "Well, it's so great to have this monkey off my back, and I believe I have a suitable punishment for Miss Stratton. Next week, I've spoken to my partner in crime, Mr. Dave Batista, and he has allowed Becky for one night only to appear on SmackDown for a match. And guess who our opponent's gonna be, Tiffany? That's right, not Mariah May. You. It is official." And then he just proudly, confidently and swaggers out of the courtroom, while Tiffany and Luca Crusifino stand there flabbergasted. Yeah, just a funny segment. I needed to do a law segment because I have to push Luca. He's not on the main roster, by the way, Luca Crusifino, but he's on my list of people to push. So, I needed to make some sort of stupid lawsuit angle, and this was what I came up with. And it's a fun way to get Becky over to SmackDown to have this match with Tiffany. We then cut from that to Swerve and B-Fab entering the Hit Row locker room, and Top Dollar and Ashanti are in there. And he goes, "Why aren't you guys in your gear?" And he goes, Cause we're not wrestling tonight, Swerve." And he goes, I'm sorry, did you forget that you told me to go tell Pierce to get your SmackDown Tag Team Championship match changed from No Mercy to tonight?" And Top Dollar's like, "What? No, we never said that. Why would we throw away a pay-per-view opportunity, Swerve?" And he goes, "Well, must have just been Ashanti in his own time talking to me then. I hear that guy, he's scheming things behind your back." And Ashanti sort of walks in and he goes, "What were you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing. I'm just saying, tonight you and Dollar are defending those SmackDown Tag Team Championships against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And I've got a plan that involves all of us. It involves B getting that briefcase. It involves me getting my hands on John Cena. And it involves you getting those SmackDown Tag Team Championships." And then B-Fab's still sort of like traumatized by what she saw earlier on. And B-Fab's like, about this briefcase, do you mind going over the plan with me?" And he goes, "Why do I need to go over the plan with you, B? It's my plan. I lead this group. Just when I say what you've got to do. Because this is only the beginning. And if all three of you do what I say you're supposed to do, trust me, you won't regret it." And he goes to leave, and he sort of stops and turns around, and he goes, "But if you don't do what I say you should do, you will regret it." '78. I didn't know how good this match was going to do, because of course you've got two good people in it, and then two not over people in it. But 78, I guess, is a decent balance. LA Knight and Candice LeRae, of course, do beat Jakara Jackson and Oro Mensah in 11:28. LA Knight pins Oro with a bottom rung. Yeah. 93 for Candice, 85 for LA Knight, 30 for Jakara Jackson, and 62 for Oro Mensah. Yeah. Decent. Better than I actually thought it would be, because, I didn't know Oro Mensah was getting... I feel like I did know, but I forgot. But yeah, I forgot he was doing 62s, despite not having much pop. Of course, we then cut back, and Carmelo Hayes is watching that on the screen in his locker room, like sort of just nodding his head, taking it in. That's when Tricky walks in. He goes, "Sup, Melo?" He goes, Like what you see?" He goes, "Nah, LA Knight's talking a big game. At this point, I just want to put him behind me. And trust me, I will at No Mercy, Trick. But what about you? Getting yourself in line for a championship opportunity tonight?" Trick goes, "Yeah, all I gotta do is win my match tonight, and then I'll get my shot at Pete Dunne next week. And then when I win next week, and you win at No Mercy the next day, Melo, we'll both be champs. Bout it. And then the Miz sort of just walks in and just looks, and he goes, Really? This? Let me get one thing straight to you, Trick. I have looked at you, and I've known you've had potential since I first saw you get called up here to SmackDown here in WWE. But for you to be the obstacle between me and another shot to reclaim my United States Championship, you're a cakewalk. You're not ready, Trick. And I'm gonna prove that tonight, when I crush your dreams of you and Melo both being champions." So that sets up the match between Trick and The Miz, which is coming up next, I believe. I think there is another segment before then. There is, okay. Candice, she's walking down the hallway following her win. Probably maybe on the phone to Johnny. It's like, "Yeah, me and LA Knight, we did great, hope you watched." And you can hear him goes, "Yeah, I did. Candice, you did great, and you're going to beat Bianca at No Mercy. I've got faith in you." And then when she's on the phone, she sort of gets jumped from behind by Bianca Belair and Jakara Jackson. They throw her into a box backstage or whatever, and leave her laying on the floor. And Jakara just sort of squats down and goes, "Look, Bianca, she slipped." And they both walk off giggling. I was like, Candice is laid out, but Johnny's still on the phone. He's just going "Candice, you good? Candice?" 78. That's actually alright. Yeah. Trick Williams defeats The Miz, though. Goes 12 minutes 27, and he beats him with that big trick kick. to earn himself a future shot at the United... Well, not future, next week. He's fine. Not on the pay-per-view. On SmackDown. Because the pay-per-view is fucking stacked. So I had no room for a US title match. Yeah. It is how it is. Like, I normally fall into the trap of wanting to book every single belt on the pay-per-views. But all of the people that I would want a long-term US title story with going to be on a pay-per-view are already booked. You know? So, Pete is defending on SmackDown. It's fine. And it's a big opportunity for Trick, who gets a big win here over The Miz. And then after that, we just get Pete Dunne coming out, holding the belt up high, Tricky looking at it on his head, rubbing his hands. And yeah, next week, Pete Dunne will defend the US title against Trick Williams. Next week, SmackDown's really fucking big, by the way. It's got a US title match between Trick and Pete Dunne. It's got Becky coming over for one night to fight Tiffany Stratton. We've got that weigh-in between two giants in Big Cass and Omos. And we have a big main event which hasn't been announced yet, but will be announced shortly. But before that, we get to Chase U backstage. You know, Chase goes, you know, girls, I say it a lot in Chase U, but it's not about how hard you get hit. About how hard you get hit and keep fighting. And you girls, you're going to keep on fighting, because that was the closest we ever got to championship glory here in Hit Row. Not Hit Row, Chase U. I'm just so used to Hit Row on the show. And then Thea sort of walks in, she goes, I did my assignment. And he goes, really? This isn't due for another 3 months, Thea? She went, yeah, I've had some free time on my hand recently though, Mr. Chase, if you understand. I see the girls didn't, you know, get those tag team championships. Bummer. She goes, Thea, what's getting into you? Like, you feel like you're not feeling the Chase U spirit, you know? It's almost like, are you, like, resenting Morgan and Hams? Thea goes, no, I'm not resenting them. Why would I resent them? What, because they're prettier, funnier, better than I am? Why would I care, Mr. Chase? Huh? Just let me know when you need me next. And she sort of walks off. Andre Chase just goes, Thea, wait up. And then the other five, being Bodie, Shane, Morgan, Hams, and Haley, just sort of awkwardly stand around like, whoa, what the fuck's going on there? We then cut backstage to the Queendom locker room, where they're sort of like giggling at each other. And then Cammy goes, you know, we really got the jump on Asuka and Dakota tonight. Now, Dakota, as I made it perfectly clear to her at the start of the show, she's no problem, you know. EO, the genius of the sky, is going to take her out at No Mercy. But Asuka, she's fighting Utami at No Mercy, and, you know, she's been a thorn in our side for many, many months now. Then EO sort of stands up off the throne, and she shouts at Utami in Japanese. And Utami sort of like looks a little bit taken aback and shocked. Then Tegan and Piper sort of lean over and go, what'd she say? And Cammy goes, I hold on, I need to check if this is correct. Really? And EO goes, yes. Goes, well, okay then. Next week, live here on SmackDown, making a deal with this Asuka problem before it becomes a problem. It'll be just one day before No Mercy, when Asuka will lose to the heir apparent Utami Hayashishita. Next week, in quite possibly the biggest SmackDown main event ever. Asuka goes one-on-one with the genius of the sky, the Women's World Champion, Io Sky, in a SummerSlam rematch. So there you fucking go. Next week, we could be looking at another 100 rated match, as just 24 hours before No Mercy, it will be a SummerSlam rematch, as Io Sky, the Women's World Champion, takes on Asuka. Non-title action, but yeah, Io and Asuka one-on-one next week in the main event. And also set for next week is another big women's match, is coming over from Raw, Becky Lynch, you know, as a result of a victorious court case by Adam Pearce against Tiffany Stratton. Becky Lynch has been granted the right to come over to SmackDown for one night only to settle the score with the woman who she punched in the face back at Evolution. And also set as a United States Championship match, Pete Dunne defends the championship against his latest challenger, Trick Williams, who scored a big win over The Miz tonight. And speaking of big, here is the big weigh-in. Big problem Cass or Moss, one day before their gargantuan colossal clash at No Mercy, will take part in a weigh-in on next week's SmackDown. 92. Top Dollar has had a 92 rated match. That, okay, whatever, sure. That could have been on the pay-per-view. And it probably will score better than the match on the pay-per-view that's replacing it. But yeah. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, of course, do defeat Hit Row in 17 minutes 30 when Sami pins Ashanti with a Haluva kick to make defense number 2 of the SmackDown Tag Team titles. 79 for Ashanti, 69 for Top Dollar, 95 for Sami Zayn, and 86 for Kevin Owens. B-Fab and Swerve are out there, of course. And Swerve, as soon as the bell rings and Hit Row lose, he's just there laughing at himself. And then he gets into the ring and he takes down Sami Zayn. And starts beating up on Sami Zayn. And he gets in Top Dollar's face and Ashanti's face and goes, "Get them! Get them right now!" And then Top Dollar just sort of like, Ashanti goes over right away, but Top Dollar sort of like stumbles. And he goes, "Did you not hear me, you big oaf? I said get him!" And then Top Dollar, he does listen in the end. After like B-Fab steps in, it's like, "Dollar, come on, just listen to him." And then he listens to B-Fab because, that's like his bestie here. And they continue to beat up on Kevin and Sami Zayn. Florence does run out to try and tussle with B-Fab on the outside with the women brawling. And then Ashanti and Top Dollar double team to take down Kevin Owens. They both pick up Sami Zayn, hold him in position, and Swerve's going to do that big swerve kick on Sami Zayn. When out rushes John Cena. He storms into the ring and he clotheslines Ashanti, he clotheslines Top Dollar. He gets Swerve up for the AA, but Swerve scurries away off his back. And then John Cena does pick up Ashanti the Adonis, hits him with the AA, and then he grabs a mic. And he goes, "Really? Like I said, kid, I've looked at you for a long time. I've looked at you like, somebody who can carry SmackDown to the next generation, and trust me, I still kind of believe that. But you're becoming a problem around here, man. Nah, you've made a lot of enemies in just a short amount of time. You want this?" Points at the Money in the Bank briefcase. He goes, "You want them? Well, I say, let's lay an ultimatum down right here on SmackDown. How about a No Mercy? Winner take all. As Hit Row, all 4 of you take on Florence, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and John Cena." Big pop. And Top Dollar, Ashanti, and B-Fab sort of look shocked because that's a big match for them. Swerve, of course, chuckling away to himself. He goes, "Oh, winner take all, huh? Hit Row, you guys, me and you, John. I thought you'd never ask. See ya there, champ. Wabadoo." And then the babyfaces stand tall, one on each turnbuckle to end the show. A 93 rated show, we take that, a 92 rated Top Dollar main event. You don't see that every day. But that's not all for tonight, because we do have an episode of Velocity coming up. Velocity kicks off with 78 rated tag team action. Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali of ECW take on Zachary Ben-Shahar and Gregor Ferguson of the Lady Killers. The third Lady Killer, Sid Cottrell, is currently out injured, so that's why it's just these two in here for now. But yeah, it is Ali and Cedric who win when Mustafa Ali pins Gregor Ferguson with the 054. 82 for Mustafa Ali, 72 for Cedric Alexander, 58 for Gregor Ferguson, and a 66 for Zachary Ben-Shahar. And yeah, I believe they're up against the Usos in the next round of the ECW Tag Team Tournament, so that should be fun. We then get a 72 rated match. Dante Rios picks up a win over David Martot in 12:41, which is maybe the biggest win. David is I know he's a Frenchman, but he is a SmackDown guy. So that is a main roster talent that Dante has beaten here. in 12:41. 65 for Dante Rios, 76 for David Mato. And then after the match, Dante's in the ring, Drew Gulak and Oni by his side. And Gulak goes, you know, Dante Rios, the future of cruiserweight wrestling here, has been picking up wins recently. And I think it's about time that, you know, that damn sensei, you know, who cheated to defeat me in that Cruiserweight Championship match, comes back to their show and puts the championship on the line against the next great Cruiserweight wrestler, that being Mr. Dante Rios. So how about it, sensei? If your schedule's free next week, come to Velocity to face Dante Rios in Cruiserweight action. So yeah, that's a challenge laid down by Drew Gulak. He may have lost, but he's got faith that his apprentice, Dante Rios, can beat Young Sensei for the championship. And speaking of championship matches being set up, you then get a trios main event. Only gets a 71, but like I was testing to see how these teams did. Well, not these teams, this one specifically. It's Terminal Velocity, Ty and Toby Marley, and Angelico, who is new. I signed him to AAA. Because I think he was free. I think AEW weren't renewing him, so I thought, yeah, I can stick him in AAA. And they beat Ari Sterling and the Booty Twins. Angelico submits Ryan Booty with a Crucella inverted ass. 74 for Angelico, 52 for Toby, 66 for Ty, 47 for Ryan Booty, 60 for Lewis Booty, and a 70 for Ari Sterling. So yeah, I don't know for sure, but that trio seems to have a win here, which could put them in potential for a future trio championship match against Death from Above. We'll have to see. But that does end tonight's Velocity, which gets us a 73. That's actually not bad for Velocity standards there, and there was a segment in there, so that's also not bad for Velocity standards. Well, as more is what you thought of the show. Do you know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for the next Mae Young Classic special, which I believe is going to be round 5 of each. Yeah, round 5 of the A and B block. Oh yeah, so this is going to be the Mae Young special for round 5 of the A and B block. Then there's going to be, you know, Heat on Monday, which will have 6 from the A block, and then 6 from the B block the week after, and then that Sunday, is in 2 Sundays from now, we'll have the final matches of the opening round. And then I'm also thinking about just making that the grand final special. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, see you then anyway.